This is episode 3 of Pitchin' It with Ben. I am joined by LPGA Tour winner Cheyenne Knight. We talk about her start in golf, her college career, her time on Symetra Tour, and why the players and tour deserve so much more credit. Turning a tough rookie season around with a life-changing victory, and the moments that led up to it. And we talk about so much more. As always, thanks for listening and enjoy episode 3.
I wanted to get to at some point in this conversation, but we can talk about it now. Does Solheim Cup, is that on your goal list at some point, or your goals to play a Solheim Cup someday?
Yes. Yeah, I would love to do that, especially because, we don't play match play a lot, but I would love to play Solheim Cup. I think that's definitely one of my goals in the next year, the next few years. Yeah, because I feel like that's the ultimate, for a European or an American golfer is to be on that stage. And I've never played junior Solheim Cup or junior Ryder Cup. I've never had the chance to represent my country, so I think that would be just a huge honor.
That would be amazing. So have you been able to attend a Solheim or a Ryder Cup or anything?
No, I never have. Okay. Not yet. I would love to.
I'm sure that you've heard stories and seen it on TV, but I made it to the 2017 Solheim Cup in Des Moines.
Yep.
And I tell people to this day, it's the greatest sporting event that I've ever been to. And
oh my gosh.
Which is wild because I'm at graduate of Indiana University, so we have assembly hall and had been to amazing basketball games there, but nothing is compared to that. And
right.
The first tee is the most incredible thing. So speaking of music, just talking music wise and sound, it's not I don't know how you're going to be able to calm your nerves.
I know.
Just because everyone's so loud. It's the opposite of other tournaments where people get quiet. They're like the signs, instead of be quiet or quiet please, they're get loud.
Right.
And then you have Danielle Kang, who's come on, get
oh
louder,
my God,
get louder.
I know.
But
I think I would need to play with someone on that end, to be because I'd be oh my gosh, I'm so nervous, I'm about to throw up. I need someone to probably be let's go or something. But yeah, that I remember at Tournament of Champions, on the 18th tee, whenever they would just turn off the music, I'm just leave it on. It's just so much more awkward when it's quiet and there's a lot of people around. Just play it, not a big deal.
Yeah. Oh, see, I'm so sad. That was going to be my first event this year, and this kind of a long story that basically I had a car accident. My car ended up being totaled a few days before heading out, so it kind of changed my plans a lot on that trip. It's okay. I'm okay, and the other person is also okay. It was not my fault, though. It was not my fault.
Okay, good. Perfect. Okay.
FYI. But
good.
But everybody is also okay.
Okay, good.
It just changed the plans up. But I made it to the Tournament of Champions in 2018. And the 18th tee, they had the DJ and and some people are totally, especially some of the celebrities, they're I don't know, who did you get to play with?
I played, oh my gosh, it's bad. Mark Mulder the first day.
Oh, he's pretty good.
And he was good. And I played, I don't know baseball that well. I don't know. And I remember, because Angela and I are good friends, and she'd come up to me and be you're playing with so-and-so today, AJ. I was I Googled him the night before. I don't know anything about him. But everyone I played with was super nice. I played with the last day I played with, I know his name, I just can't think of it, but he was the third baseman for the Yankees and also a third baseman coach. But it's incredible how far those guys hit it. And they'll hit one off the mat, but sometimes they'll hit hit it really good. So.
Yeah. Well, so I just remember being like at the AT&T because I spent a decent amount of time there because it's fun. You get because there's always a long wait too because that's not an easy par 3.
Because you're literally hitting like a wood or a hybrid, and and like your partner, I mean the people you play with will hit it everywhere, and you're always waiting.
It's just not an easy hole to finish, I don't think, at all. So there's always a wait, so that's a good time like to catch people slapping and smiling because you hear the DJ starts playing music and stuff. But I have always been interested by that because to me, for instance, when you're playing golf, I don't know what your thought is, but this is how I feel. Whenever I'm like gonna play a shot and get ready to tee off or something, and then someone is in a cart driving by to go to like another hole, and then they'll see you late, and then they'll kind of just stop suddenly.
Yeah.
That's what usually throws me off. Like,
I agree.
For me, if they would just keep going, as long as they're not driving in front of me, like if they're that sound, like I've already adjusted to that sound mentally.
Yeah.
When it stops, then it throws me off.
Yeah. That's like, I would agree. Cause if someone's talking, just keep talking. Cause like when my caddy's like, be quiet. And like, they're like, what? Like that's distracting. And like, you're ready to go. But like if a cart's driving by, just keep going, not stop. And
I understand the etiquette because then you're still like, because I've done the exact same thing. And I usually end up stopping probably too because I'm afraid of that one person who is always like, just like will yell like, what do you do? What are you doing?
Yeah, I know. Oh my God.
So it gets kind of difficult that way. But okay, so can I ask you, when did you start playing golf?
I was 9. My dad played golf, and that's how I just got started in it. And I'm from like a community in Houston where, they do like a junior golf camp and a junior golf league. So I would start, you'd play 3 holes and then like go swimming and have like lunch after. So I did that in the summer. And then when I kept getting last place, that's when I decided to like, I don't like that anymore. So that's when I started practicing. And that's when I really like loved golf when I was like 9, 10 years old.
Wow. So failure actually inspired you instead of deterring you.
Yeah, because I was getting last and I wasn't like getting a ribbon like for first, second, or third, and I did not like that. And like all my little friends like were a lot better than me, and I did not like that. So that's I was like, I need to practice. And so because my dad is a really good golfer, so he kind of started taking me out to the golf course. And I remember where he's like teaching me how to hit a bunker shot. And so we're in the bunker and like, here's my ball. And he's like, drew a line. He said, okay, just hit that line like behind the ball and it'll like splash out. And then I remember the next week I was in a bunker. So I drew the line and he's like, oh no. And I got a 1-stroke penalty. And I didn't understand. He's like, you can't do that. I'm like, but we do that all the time. He said, like, in practice, but you can't do that in a tournament. I was like, okay. But so it was like little things like that. But and like once you beat a certain score, you got to move up to 6 holes. So it was a nice like process to get better.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. And I'm glad that you got penalized because maybe it helped you keep that like ingrained in your head a little bit more.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, I shot a, whatever, 32 on 3 holes or whatever it was, but no, I shot 33 or something like that. But it's like I don't get it. But yeah, can't do that.
So I imagine, I don't know. Who are some of your inspirations been kind of through your golf life?
Angela Stanford, I would say, look up to her a lot. Like I watched Tiger. I would always say Tiger. And Lorena, I would say those are the people that I watched growing up, and Paula too. especially when she won the US Open. I remember watching that. But yeah, those are some of them, like when I was younger, who I really liked to watch. And my coach like taught Angela, but I don't just go to him anymore. She doesn't go to him anymore. But I remember like the first time I played with her, I was like 12 years old. And I was so nervous, and it was like right before, I think it was just right after she played in a Solheim Cup, and she gave me like her FootJoy shoes that she wore, and I just thought that was like the coolest thing. So that was like pretty special. And I mean, because I play with Angela on Saturday, and I really look up to her and all that she's achieved. So
yeah, for sure. So at age 12, when she gave you those shoes, did you think that, like, let's see, you're 23, like 11 or 12 years later or 10 years later, you'd be playing alongside her on the LPGA Tour?
No, I never, like, I always wanted to, but I didn't think like, oh, I'd play with her one day. No, I don't think I ever thought that. But I was like, I like had those, I was like, oh, I've always like dreamed of playing a Solheim Cup, but I never thought like so soon that I'd like be on the LPGA with her.
Yeah. When did you start to have dreams of actually playing professionally?
So I went to Alabama, and I wasn't I won a few times on the AJGA, but I definitely wasn't one of like the best players. Like, never did like Junior Solheim Cup or any of that. And so I went to Alabama, and I didn't even know if I was gonna get on the top 5 and travel. But I wanted to go on a team where girls are better than me, and I wanted it to be competitive. And I would say like my freshman year, I kind of started to, I think just like college golf, you're kind of on your own, and you kind of learn how to do things a little bit differently than junior golf. You don't have, like, I mean, my parents have always been super supportive, but I feel like it's kind of your choice, like more so like if you want to get better. And like I like excelled so much my freshman year, and I think after that is when I really like was like, oh, like I can definitely play professional golf. So I think just college gave me like a huge confidence booster, like going into professional golf.
Yeah, because it's interesting, and also I think that shows a lot about who you are. Like to want to go. Well, obviously you were very good to get on at Alabama to begin with, though. But like I know that it's another level to get into. You said top 5 to be a part of the team that travels, but like that's a deep team, like a really loaded team you were on. Like I'm just looking back at like pictures of that team, almost all professional golfers. Like at least 3 of you are out on the LPGA right now.
Yeah, like there's because Emma was a senior when I was a freshman, Emma Talley, and we had Janie Jackson, who just won on Symetra, and then Lauren and Kristen and LeCaraby's on Symetra, and then Angie, who was on the 2018 team with us. She is like still in school. So, but yeah, no, we were like really like just a stacked team, and we were really good and really competitive. And all of us were, because I wanted to go on a really good team. Like I compare it to like, Duke, Southern Cal, UCLA, Stanford, like all those girls, like our girls are going to play on the LPGA Tour with, like they all have the same aspirations. Like I don't think you'd go to a good program to not want to play on the LPGA. And I mean, you see, like Annie Park, like just like so many girls like that you played with that in college are now out there with you.
Yeah. So you ended up Alabama on this super competitive team. So you're going to get that every single day. Like just to feel like you have a spot to travel, you're going to have to play really well. So you were competing probably constantly, like just getting those competitive juices flowing. Did you?
Yeah.
But you said that after your freshman year, you were feeling like professional aspirations kind of started to kick in. Was there a moment that clicked? Like you started to your game improved in certain areas. You started shooting lower scores than you had been previously, or?
Yeah, I think like I credit my college coach a lot for this, because I just didn't have like I don't know, like I guess like the self-belief and like my game was good enough, and he was like, you need to find like how you play golf and just stick with that and like just get that better every day. You don't need to hit it like like Emma or Janie, whatever, like my freshman year. And so I remember like we played in New Orleans and I chipped absolutely awful. Putted terrible, like sculling them across the green, duffing chips is terrible. And like Nick is my college coach, is brutally honest, but I like that. I've always told him to be like pretty straight up with me because I can take it. And I remember going into his office like the day after we got back, and he's like, your chipping is really bad. I was like, it is. He said, okay, so we're going to work on it the next 2 weeks so that we'll be prepared, in our next tournament. And I won the next college tournament. So I just think like him being like, Cheyenne, you're really good. You do these things well. You need to keep improving on those things. And like, because I won National Freshman of the Year, and I was in contention at the national championship in Oregon. And so just like knowing I could play at that highest level and, win in college definitely helped. And like just always like that thing of getting better, that process. And he really taught me how to do that.
Yeah, I think a good coach, like a good caddy, they're an important part of that success. Like, Jacqueline Lee?
Yes.
Okay, so I talked to Jacqueline last week. She was talking about some of her experience at Ohio State. She had a very good relationship with her coach as well. Like,
yes.
Also, she had some pretty good stories from her college experiences. Do you have a story or two that stands out to you from your time at Alabama?
Oh dear, gosh, I need to think. Like funny or just like any experience? Okay. Oh gosh, let me think. There's a lot of funny stuff.
I mean,
I like what like. Let's see.
How about like maybe an on-course experience and then maybe like a travel story? You guys there's airports, team buses,
oh my
things that you feel appropriate or feel comfortable sharing.
So we would. Okay, I need to think of like on the course stuff, but in the airport, like my sophomore year, we would do like what are the odds a lot. And so we had to do like the most ridiculous stuff. I remember we're just obsessed with that game. And I remember I was at Cracker Barrel with Lauren Stevenson and Mia Landegren, and they're like, what are the odds you like walk out with your pancake and like holding the pancake in your hand and like stupid stuff like that. But in the airport, we were like talking to people, like screaming in the airport, like just stupid stuff, like constantly. Or like, what are the odds on the plane? You like tell the flight attendant to like come to you. So we'd do like stupid stuff like that. And then on the course, this is funny. So you all have to wear the same stuff, and in New Orleans, where I had the putting disaster. So I brought the wrong shirt on the last day, like the wrong crimson shirt, and I was in like tears. I'm like, I can't tell Susan, our assistant coach, she's gonna get so mad at me. And she didn't, but like thank goodness I wore a rain jacket that day. But New Orleans is like super hot and muggy, so it was like super hot. And Janie, we had these Nike skirts that had like the detachable shorts. Well, she forgot her shorts. And so you were literally wearing a skirt with like nothing underneath it. And so she had to wear her rain pants the entire day. And it was so hot. Like it would rain like off and on, but it was super humid. And I see her and she has her rain pants like rolled up and they look like capri like pants. And that was really funny. But I need to think because we did like stupid stuff like all the time.
That's college and team team. That's kind of that's what happens. As long as you guys didn't get in too much trouble, that's the main thing. It was all
we didn't.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, it was definitely like, hopefully I brought the right stuff, because I mean you have to match, and it would be really bad if we didn't all match. So
wait, the same day that you forgot or had the wrong shirt and wore the rain jacket, it was, say, Janie, yeah, your other teammate
forgot the skirt, the detachable shorts. Okay. And so we all had like the wrong stuff on, and we like played terrible that tournament, and like it was just like one thing after another.
It was a turning point.
We never went back to New Orleans after that.
So, okay, on a slightly more serious note though, what's some advice that you would give some young girls that are aspiring to play in college?
I would say like, it's okay if you're not the best junior player, and like I know it's kind of stressful, especially now since they've changed the rules, like how late you can visit schools. But I would say, like, don't be afraid to go somewhere where you may not be the best player, because like those people you can learn from, and you can like they can push you to be better. Like that's something that I did, and it really helped me. And I would say, you know, if you want to, like, if your dream school is, you know, Duke or whatever, I think you should just like keep chasing that, and like always strive to go somewhere that is your dream. Because I remember the first time I talked to Mick on the phone and took a visit, like he's like, you know, we're keeping our options open for your year, like basically telling me that I wasn't good enough to go to Alabama. But I was like, I don't care, like I'm gonna work hard and I want to go there. So I would say that's some advice I would give.
Did you have any other possible schools that you were thinking about or on the table, or was it Alabama?
Yeah, so it was actually between Alabama and Arizona, and I loved Arizona. It was my dream to go to Alabama ever since I saw them win the national championship in 2012. And so, like, when we lost, if it had to be someone else, like, I was really glad it was Laura and her team. So, but like, she's great, and I love to play golf in Arizona, so that's another reason why I loved it.
I got you. But you're from Texas, so none of the Texas schools came into play, or you just wanted to get out of Texas?
My dad went to Texas A&M, and I grew up a huge Aggie, and like it was my dream to play golf at Texas A&M. And the coach, who is no longer there, I don't know what she's doing, but like she told me I could walk on when I had offers from other schools, and I was like, I'm not gonna freaking walk on, like, you know. So it's kind of like a jab, because I remember her talking to me after, like, they're like an AJGA after the, like, at their course, at the Texas A&M course, and she's like, you know, we don't have a spot for you, but you can walk on. I was like, I'm not freaking walking on. And so but no, I like Texas though, but again, like, I just loved Alabama. And I think because I'm from Houston and now I live in Fort Worth, and so I kind of wanted to experience something different than Texas.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's not for everyone. Like, I stay close to home for my college experience, but
yeah,
I think it's important. Like, look, if you had any professional aspirations at all, like getting a little bit of independence, like, it's probably a little bit important, and even, I mean, helpful too, I think. And
yeah, for sure.
And you know, you stayed.
But I was definitely homesick though, like sometimes.
Yeah. Do you think that that not being offered a scholarship or a spot on the team at Texas A&M like kind of helped fuel you a little bit, or do you kind of let that go and you just wanted to do your best wherever you went after that?
Yeah, I think it definitely fueled me. I think, like, with my personality and just like stuff that like I've kind of had to overcome. Like, I'm definitely like, oh, if you like knock me down, I'm gonna get up like even stronger. But I was like, oh, you don't think I'm good enough to play there? Well, I'm gonna show you that I am good enough. And honestly, like, my freshman year, we won SECs and beat Texas A&M. And I remember the head coach coming up to my dad and was like, Cheyenne Scott is a really good player. And he's like, yeah, I know. Like, you missed out. So, and she's like, yeah, I did. Like, and so just like, I mean, and she's a nice lady, but I think like just telling a 15-year-old girl that like wanted to go to your school, went to all your like junior golf camps, that like you're not good enough, it definitely kind of lit a fire. But like Mick like believed in me, and like even though I wasn't the best junior player, like he was like, you know, you have a lot of potential and I can see that, and like I'm gonna like help mold you. So like I credit him a lot for that.
Yeah, I mean that's really cool that you had one coach that was super supportive. And yeah, I think we've all had some people that I don't think necessarily mean like ill will.
Yeah.
But it comes across like, I don't know if, watching Michael Jordan and stuff, but I don't know if you've seen any of the documentary.
Oh
I actually haven't seen much of it yet, but knowing like I watched and heard a lot of his stories too, growing up, of course. But for instance, him in high school, which I think the story is a little like, when he was cut from his team, high school team, he was not put on the varsity roster. He was on the JV. It's not like he had nowhere to play in high school that year. But regardless, the story is the same. Like they said, hey, you're not good enough to play on the varsity team at this time. And if that's like, okay, like,
I know.
We'll see about that.
Yeah.
So it would have been interesting to see if he would have been on that team, if he would have like made the varsity team, not played very much at all. Like, would that have? I think he's so great. Obviously, like he'd have been fine. But maybe
his like mentality, it's just so good. And how, like when I've been watching it, like when he was in college, like he was not the best player, but he would like stay after and like wanted to learn from everyone and the coaches. Like I just think that's so cool.
Putting in that work. So you finished a very successful collegiate career at Alabama and decided to play in the LPGA Q School / Q Series. Can you talk about that experience? Did you start from stage one?
So let's see. So my junior year, I went to Q School because that's when they had like the exemption into second stage. And I went to second stage, like got through, but I elected not to go to final stage, and I was just gonna like turn pro after my junior year and play Symetra. And Symetra was hard. It was like, because I thought it was gonna be so easy, and it was not, because it was just like the whole, like I've never played that much golf before, and the travel like was hard, like not doing it. And like I just thought I was gonna go out there and freaking like win the tournament, and like those girls are good, and I don't think they get the credit that they deserve. So let's see, the last tournament on Symetra, I missed going to third, like final stage by like $90. So I had to go to second stage, deal with all of that, because like that was like the first year when it was only like, you know, top 35 or 40, and you don't know that. And so like that was like stressful, because like someone like can career it. And then I got through, go to Pinehurst. The first round I shoot 81. I am like third from last, and I remember I was like just so upset, and I was like, I like just told myself like not to think like, oh my gosh, like I just lost a chance of like getting LPGA status. And I snapped out of it, and I shot under par every round except the last round when I shot one over, and I finished 26th or 27th. So like that was like really big, like to overcome. And I think like that's just like something in my personality that like I don't, just like how God made me, I'm like very much that type of person. So then I went to the LPGA, but I did not get into a lot, and I had to Monday qualify a good bit.
So a couple things. One, Q Series, I don't know, like I think that if I was playing, it would be very, very stressful for one, exhausting. I've talked to several people now that have gone through that process, like 8 rounds. However, I do think you brought up like careering it. I do think that the 8-round process does, I don't know if like more worthy is the word, but it shows, I think you get the players that are better prepared.
I agree.
For the LPGA. Because everyone that's at taking it, mostly everyone that's going into Q Series, or if they make it to the final stage, right? They're all capable of shooting, 5-6 under or better any given round.
Yeah.
So if you only have like those 4 rounds and you say you have 2 really good rounds, like you get in, but 8 rounds. So the fact that you can shoot 81 in your first round, but then you fight your way all the way back into, I think, top 27, like you said.
Yeah.
Shows that you are definitely better prepared.
Yeah, and I think I think it's good that it's 8 rounds because it separates the field. Like, if you, like, by the 6th round, 5th round, like, you already know who's, like, gonna get their card, essentially. And like, Pinehurst, like, 2 different courses. Like, Pinehurst is hard, and you're playing in North Carolina when it's cold and rainy. And it's like a good separator. Not that like second stage isn't, but that golf course is like, both of them are just kind of goofy. And like, it's not, they're just like, I mean, I think they're like, some holes are just difficult just because they're weird. But I mean, but like, usually the good players get out at second stage. But yeah, I think third stage it just separates it more. Like the mental like grind of it all too, like who's ready and who's not.
Yeah, I was talking to Jacqueline about it, and she had this, I don't know if you know about her a couple weeks, and I'm going to share the story online at some point, but it is crazy. Like the week that she had, like she was doing finals, I think, at Ohio State the same week, and had just finished like Team Canada trip to Ireland I have no idea. She had all these things going on, and I'm not saying like she's different than everybody else. Like, you guys are all battling your own little, mental battles and physical battles. Like, it's an amazing test, I think, for sure. The other thing I wanted to say was Symetra Tour, your comment about Symetra, which I agree. Like, they don't get enough props, I don't think. Players that are out there. And actually have a story about, so there was a guy, I think we all get like weird to not great DMs on our Instagram or other social media sometimes. This guy, like,
oh dear.
This guy that's been following me for a while, I guess, he messaged me because I went to 2 Symetra events last year that were pretty close to where I live. And I hadn't been to one yet, so I wanted to go out there. Like, I had some friends out there, but I also just wanted to experience it.
Yeah.
He sends me a message. He's like, Ben, am I going to have to unfollow you? I follow you for LPGA pictures, and I don't want to see any Symetra Tour players. Like, basically, that's what he said. And I was like,
jerk.
I actually did respond to him, basically along the lines of, I don't need you to follow me if that's how you feel.
Oh my gosh, 1 follower. Oh, I'm gonna die.
And I told him, I was like, this is the LPGA, like, this is the future of the LPGA. Like, guaranteed 10 of these players are going to be out on the LPGA next year.
Yeah.
And then there's probably a handful that are also going to get through Q Series, and they're going to be out there too. Like, this, like, I cover women's golf. I primarily following the LPGA, but I'm not going to, and also I felt like I was the only non-Symetra Tour or LPGA employee at that event, essentially. Like, and I made a lot of connections that week too, because I was like, no one gets their picture taken, or rarely. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it's just there's very little media attention out there. So So anyway, yeah, getting some.
What a jerk.
Yeah. Anyway, that happens occasionally.
Yeah, and I mean it's like the equivalent to like the Corn Ferry, and you know people love talking about that. But yeah, I mean on Symetra, because like I was like, oh, I'm a lot better than these girls. Like I think I don't think I like a little cocky, but
you felt confident.
Like, oh, yeah, and I would say those girls know how to like, you know, I think on the LPGA, like I'm most impressed, like, you know, with ball striking and like the girls, like it's just different. But like on Symetra, like some of the girls that have been out there, you know, they may not hit it the best, but they know how to get it in the hole, which like I found like, which is the most impressive thing that I saw. Like, you know, this girl like swing may not be like Jin Young Ko, but she can freaking get it in the hole, like, and shoot around even under par, like every time. And they're grinders. I mean, I remember in freaking Kansas on Symetra, I'm like, this is not the glamorous professional life that I thought it was. And it's just a mental toll. Like, I mean, you don't play great golf courses. I mean, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. It's just tough. It's just like a grind, and the girls that, you know, do that, and like it's impressive. I mean, like whenever I see it now, I'm like, man, those girls, like, I mean, they know how to do it, and it's hard.
Yeah, on top of the financial stress. So it's like you have people that you're carpooling, like you're not taking, a lot of times you're driving 12 plus hours, like
yeah,
you're not going to hop on a plane. You're driving, sharing rooms, or having host families. I think on LPGA too, like the host families, I don't know if you've experienced that too much, but it is, from my experience and talking to other players, like that's a really cool part of it and getting to meet new people and stuff. But
yeah,
that part of it's crazy. And actually, I don't know if you know Casey Komodo. She went to Northwestern.
Oh yes, what a sweetheart. I played with her in college. She's great.
She's super nice and super smart, and we had a good talk a couple weeks ago. But she's in Japan, and so right now she's on the Step Up Tour, which is like the equivalent of Symetra for.
Yep.
But see, in Japan and a lot of Asia, but like it's a different level there. So women's athletes, especially golfers, are like they're like the top of the food chain. Like they're more popular than the men. Like she talks about, if you're over there, like you have sponsors. Like that's pretty much the way it is. And every one of their Step Up Tour events, so the equivalent of Symetra, they get televised. And not the entire tournament, but like enough that's where sponsorship dollars come in.
Yeah.
And they still have fans, like in fan clubs, people waiting to get their autographs and to take pictures. And it's just a kind of a very different experience. And I hope that we can get there someday here, because first, so many people like deserving of it, and then
I know, and that's a sad thing, because like so many girls, like Minso. Do you know who Minso is?
I don't know her personally.
Name is like Kwok. It's like KWAK or something. She's finished 11th or 12th the last like 2 or 3 years. And then she goes to Q school, but like I think it's a little mental thing, but like then she hasn't gotten through, which is like, I mean, gosh, like getting so close, like year after year. And it's like the financial stuff, like you pay $500 a week, and if you make the cut, sometimes you don't get your money back, which is just baffling. So it's just, I mean, and like Mike does a really good job, and I hope it like continues to get better. But I just think like if they televise Daytona, when people get their cards, like how they do for the Corn Ferry, like that's awesome. I mean, that's like a huge achievement, and there's like a lot of drama that goes into it as well. Like the girl who didn't go to her pro-am, and she got DQ'd from the last event and barely got in. Like that, there's a lot of like drama and stuff that goes around it too.
Yeah. You're right though. Like at the very least, and you know what? It's not Commissioner Juan or it's not their fault. Like he's been doing an amazing job, and I mean the LPGA as far as like elevating things, purses and sponsors and everything. I think I'm pretty sure that they're still paying Golf Channel for the LPGA to be televised, which is really hard to wrap your head around, I think, because like we're having to pay to be televised. Everyone else is paying, like the PGA Tour is getting paid.
I think
ridiculous amount of money.
$200 million TV deal or something like that.
Yeah, crazy numbers.
I know.
So they're doing the best they can. It is just kind of like he does say, like I'm just hoping that someone gives us a chance. Like give us a chance or take a chance on us, and you won't be disappointed. And I think I've seen that happen so much with if you talk to people that have watched the LPGA, there's a lot of very supportive people out there, and then people that have been totally surprised. Like I had this man messaged me actually on Instagram saying like, hey, I started following the LPGA last year because my daughter started playing golf. She's like 4 years old or something, and he's in Canada. So they went to the CP Women's Open. He said he was just completely blown away by a lot of things that we know is that you got the players, like they will take the time to talk to you, especially like if it's a young girl, like, and he said, I saw the picture. You're the fellow CK. Christina Kim, he said, was a big inspiration to his daughter because she actually like took time and talked to her, like talked, like explained like the steps you need to take as a 4 or 5 year old, you know.
And she will do that. She's so nice.
Yeah, she's amazing. We've have a pretty good friendship now after she got kind of mad at me a few weeks ago because I actually hadn't talked to her since 2018. And, she's someone like
It's okay.
We're all good.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was just like, I didn't know anything about the LPGA, but he's like, I have a daughter. She's interested in golf. I took her. We had a tournament nearby. Went to it, and it's just like changed a lot of things. So, like now he's a big fan, and of course for his daughter's sake. So you see that a lot. And also people that will go watch are like the LPGA player, like they're amazing. Like they're incredible golfers, and they just people don't see that, and they don't even take the time to try and see it. So anyway, okay. Yeah. So we're moving into your rookie year on the LPGA. So last year, 2019. So pre-win, how would you describe your year, or what are your thoughts about your year?
Difficult, like very challenging, like not great, bad, like just not good because it was such a hard adjustment. And like for me, I constantly thought about making the cut or keeping my card, and that could like cause me a lot of stress, like on and off the golf course. And it was really hard before my win, and I like got to the point where I didn't think I could play on the LPGA. So definitely some hard times.
Yeah, because I never want to say something like negative, and I don't think it's negative, but this is something I feel we can talk about since you got over the hump. Like, so if I'm looking at if I'm correct, I think looking at your results from last year, it goes cut, tie 61st, win. So
let's see.
What's
yeah.
What's something flip? What, like, I know you went back home, you're in Texas. Something changed. Yeah. Or
Yeah, so let's see. After Portland, I like 3-putted the last 2 holes to miss the cut, and that was probably like the lowest I've ever been in my golfing career. But like you had 3 weeks off before Indy, and I didn't have a caddy. So the Reynolds Robinson, who caddied for me at Q School, who used to caddy for Cheyenne Woods for a few years. Yeah, ironic. And so he caddied for me in 2018 in Q School at final stage. And I called him. I was like, hey, like, I know the men's tour just ended up. Is there anyone that like is looking for a bag? And he hooked me up with Brian Mahoney, and I called him. I was like, look, I have 2 tournaments left. I'm in a really rough spot. You know, I'm just trying to get some, like that point, I already like was like, you know, I'm going back to Q School. It is what it is. So I just told him I'm just looking to like gain some momentum. And he's like, all right, sounds good. And I talked to him about payment. He said, I don't care about payment. I'll help you. And that's one thing that really stood out to me, because he didn't even know me. And I would say I worked really hard during those 3 weeks on my putting, but like I like struggled with my ball striking the whole year. And I go to Indy, and I met Brian, and he was great, and I'm hitting it like terrible in the practice rounds, like absolutely awful. And I go to the range, and I like decide to pull out the TrackMan. Like I haven't been pulling it out because I'm like, I'm hitting it so bad. Like I don't think anything, like a number, is gonna help me. And so I'm hitting a 9-iron, and like I like to hit a draw. I like to start it out to the right and draw it back. Well, I'm swinging this 9-iron like 4 degrees to the left, which is like bad, because that's not like my shot shape. And that for me, like I can't hit a solid shot like that. And I was like, what the heck are you doing? And so in Indy, I just started like shutting out my swing, trying to start it right off. And Brian like went over to my mom and was like, she's hitting it really good. And so in Indy, it was it was hard for me because I was starting to hit a draw again, and sometimes I would kind of overdraw it or not draw it enough, just because it's kind of a new way of swinging for me, even though that's how I've always swung. But throughout the year, I haven't been swinging like that. But going into Texas is when it like clicked, like, okay, I need to hit a little draw, so aim only like 5 or 10 yards right. So that's when it started clicking.
Wow. I feel like that, well, I don't know, because you've been playing golf at a very high level for a long time. But I remember the first lesson I ever went to, which was at like age 18 or 19. And it was like you can gain so much, like the improvement after like one lesson. Like if you have a good coach, like can be massive. And it's like, oh, like the feeling, like, oh, the shot, like I'm consistently getting it to go on this line or this shape. So like this big kind of moment. And I think those moments probably become much less as you become like better and better and as a professional. But it's interesting that you had just really just seeing that, like having a visual, and you're like, oh, this has been off, and you're able to kind of turn it around.
Yeah. And I think like throughout the year, I was worrying about so much other stuff in my swing that didn't really matter. Like it doesn't matter what my backswing looked like. It doesn't matter, you know, all this other stuff. It matters where the ball's going. And for the first time in Texas, I knew where my ball was going. And I feel like throughout my career, if you ask my dad, my college coach, anyone that knows me, they're like, Cheyenne hits it straight. Well, I'm not hitting it straight all year, but that's when it finally started clicking.
Wow, just in time.
Just in time, yep.
So,
but yeah.
So you get to that week in Texas. Like, did you feel like what was your thought? Like, you knew that you felt good. You know, your swing was like at a place you felt pretty confident with. But what did you have any expectations then going into that week, or did you try to keep them low and just like let the results be what they are?
So I think my dad told me that because we already had like a place picked out in Pinehurst, and he said, all right, you need a top 5 finish to keep your card. And he said, I think you can do it. Like I got to that tournament and it was the first time like all year the cut didn't matter because it didn't matter if I finished 40th, 30th, 20th because I would get a paycheck, but it wouldn't let me keep my job. And I felt like my mentality just, being a rookie and like not playing in a lot of tournaments because I had to do the reshuffle and Monday qualify at the beginning of the year. I put so much pressure on myself to keep my card. And that tournament, I had nothing to lose. And so that was the first time I was actually playing to win, which I think is the mentality you should have all the time. And like I was just fearless. Like I wasn't like being dumb and attacking at pins, but like I was confident in my swing, I was putting well, and like I was just trying to keep my like foot on the gas and just keep trying to make birdies and move up the leaderboard.
And I think you did that exceptionally well.
Yeah, I know.
Does that kind of situation make you think like, why haven't I thought like this all the time? Or
yeah,
because golf's funny because you can be in those zones, but at the same time it can quickly kind of like slip. Like you played amazing golf. I mean, there's been stretches in obviously you don't make it to the LPGA Tour without playing real like incredible golf. Yeah. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But I understand like everyone's really good, so you have different thoughts that creep into your head. But then you put a week together like that where you're just like, I'm planning to win. Like I have nothing else. I have nothing to lose. I'm going to try my best and play loose. Yeah. And then you pull out a win.
I know. And it's hard because the mentality, especially like going on the LPGA, like there were definitely points during the year I questioned if I was good enough. And I think I never played with that like total confidence in myself. I always kind of played a little bit in fear. I would say just making the cut, which like the cut is irrelevant. Like if we're making the cut, you're going to be right on the number. In that tournament, like I actually, because I like in my mind already knew that I was probably going to go back to Q school. So I was just like, let's just enjoy it. And I feel like that's what you should do like all the time, even though this is my living. And yeah, like you make money if you play well, but it should be enjoyable, and no matter what the circumstances, you should always have fun. And I was like enjoying myself like out there in Texas like for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, I feel like especially being in the situation you were, so like not having full status. So you talk about the reshuffle, and like I know that puts a lot more pressure, or you probably felt a lot more pressure than other people. Like that if you have full status, you're like, I have next week, and you can think about that for a good part of the season. But with you, I feel like it was escalated a little bit because you have a limited amount of chances to really move forward.
Yeah, it was hard because I think people understand it now, but when I played Q school, that was the first Q series. And so I remember like coming down the stretch, and I remember looking at a leaderboard, and all it says is like top 45 is plus 8 or 10, whatever it was. And that's the number you're looking at. And of course, like I was inside the number, but I remember like having some birdie putts that I kind of lagged up there. But if I made a few more of those, like my priority number would have been 8 spots higher, which is a huge difference. And so going from, oh my gosh, I'm on the LPGA Tour, being super excited, to getting your priority number and being like, oh shoot, like that's not what I thought. Because I went all the way over to Australia, like my last year, to do Australian LPGA Q school. And if I finished in the top 5, I got in the Vic. So I did that, got in the Vic, but I missed the cut. So, and then I went over to Adelaide. Me and my mom drove from 13th Beach to Adelaide, which is 10 hours in the Australian. Yeah, because I didn't know how big Australia was until we actually had to drive through the wilderness to go Monday qualify. Missed it. So that's like a huge trip to Australia, not making anything. And my priority number wasn't improved, and it's hard. But then I Monday qualified in Phoenix, and I was top 10 after Friday. Then the weekend comes around and I shot even, but on a course like that, you're gonna drop way down. So I finished 40th, which was good for me for the reshuffle. But yeah, because you don't know when you're gonna get a start, and you have to take the risk of Monday qualifying.
Yeah, and then that is the thing about the LPGA luckily it is segmented fairly well. You start there's Australia, Asia, a little Asia swing, and then there's a West Coast. So you have all of those events kind of together, you can kind of plan. But sometimes they're so far apart, like you said, Australia. That's a long way to go to essentially Monday qualify / qualified your way in there, which challenging yourself too. But that's the thing too. I think also that you've learned a lot. So luckily, and I think we talked about Tyler Duncan earlier, the guy he's from my hometown, but having that relief, so whenever the season does get to start again, you won't have, hopefully you won't feel as much mental strain.
Yeah,
this time around.
It's a total different, I'm in a lot different position than I was last year, or that girls are in this year. And I think, when I was saying, when I was with my coach the other day, practicing with his students, it's hard for them because they can't get recruited right now or play in AJGA tournaments, but it's also hard for girls who do have that conditional status, and whether you go try to play Symetra and just try to do that, try to get top 10, or try to play do Monday qualifiers, but you just don't know when the reshuffle will be or how you want to space it out. So I'm very grateful for the position I'm in this year.
Yeah, I really can only imagine, because yeah. So talking about that specific week, do you think maybe the home feeling of being in Texas helped at all? Or do you think it wouldn't have mattered where you played that last event?
I think it definitely did help. Just knowing that, just having all that support, my parents were there, my grandma, my boyfriend, and aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone was there. And no matter what happened, they were gonna love and support me. And I think I was just comfortable, and I think a lot of people were rooting for me, and I think that definitely helped more than anything. And especially that last round, I felt people were kind of because I was the hometown girl, so I think people were really rooting and cheering me on, and I think that definitely helped, that rather than being somewhere where people don't know me that well. But growing up there, and some of those people watching me play golf since high school, it was really sweet.
Yeah. So you talked about before, you like to be more calm. Yeah. But how was that last round? How did you cope with that? And then also knowing that there's people pulling for you, was that more helpful, or did that kind of make things a little more anxious for you?
Let's see. So I think the people there, I kind of knew they were going to cheer for me no matter what. If I make a birdie or a bogey, they were still going to be pulling for me. So it actually made me feel more comfortable. But I slept, from my house to Old American is about an hour. and like woke up that morning, like got dressed in my bathroom, like slept in my own bed. But the hour drive over there, I was in the car with my mom, my grandma, and my boyfriend. And like that was probably the most nervous I was that day. Just like having that long of a car ride, and like I had my AirPods in, and I was listening to very like calm music, and I think they could all tell I was nervous because they were like wanting to chat with me, and I had to be like, y'all, I've gotta like, I can't talk right now. I just need to like be calm. And I remember like I warmed up, like feeling good, like not a problem. And like the range, you have to take such a long cart ride over to the first tee. And I'm like sitting on the cart with Brian, and I said, I'm going to be nervous today. I just need you to be calm and like just try to keep my mind off of it. And this is our second week together. So from going to T60 in Indy to being in the final group was like, because I mean, he didn't know how I was going to react. Like, I didn't know how he was going to react, like, because we were never in that position or even close to that position with each other. But it was like just such a, I feel like a God thing, because like my faith like is a really big part of my life. But that whole day I wasn't nervous. I just remember like because I feel like the whole year I was like, I want to keep my card and stuff. And that day I remember praying. I was like, I'm not praying to win. I'm not praying that I get top 5 or keep my card. Like, I'm just very thankful to be here. And of course I was playing to win, but like no matter the outcome, I knew I was going to be okay. Like if something crazy happened and 5 girls shot 63 and I had to go back to Q school, like I knew I was going to be okay no matter what. And but Brian really like kept me calm. Like I remember when we were walking to like the 16th tee, he's talking to me about Alabama football, and he was the same over every shot, which was really good for me.
Yeah, I feel like having not having a caddy for me. Well, okay, my dad's caddied for me in some like my like city tournament that I play in once a year. But having someone because that is something that happens. Caddies, they feel the same thing. Like their lives
too.
Yeah. I mean, because not just like a bigger paycheck, but like keeping their job and also it's exciting. Like everybody loves competing, and like you're a team, so they feel the same, or not the exact same, but very similar emotions. Like
I know. And that's like one thing, like if I'd make a birdie, we'd just do a little fist bump, but it was already like, okay, next hole. Like that was great. But like, and he handled it like just so well. Cause I don't think if I had anyone else on the bag, like too high or too low, like Brian is very like steady, which is hard. Cause I mean, he's like, I'm so nervous, but I can't show that. So.
Right.
But
you can't have I mean, I guess certain people like they mesh. Like if you're a very like emotional player, maybe you have a good relationship with your caddy, they can be very emotional too. But I have seen it. It's been really cool to see. I've seen it a lot of times, like at the events I've been at, that 18th hole where the caddy, like the final putt drops, and like the caddy, like they can finally like
yes, it's like release some emotion because they're like, okay, it's 100 to the front. Yeah, like very, and then it all just gets let out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw that with Brian too. Because, well, in the pictures, because I didn't really remember, but yeah, just him being like, "Thank God it's over."
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So now that you have you had that part kind of in the book, I feel like you don't watch baseball. You can like relate it to baseball, like how people get paid a lot of money. They can go up in a game, strike out 3 times, and then the one time they hit a home run. And like all of a sudden they're like, they had a great game. And statistically, the whole game was not that great, except this one moment changed everything. So how do you look at 2019, like your rookie season now, post-win? Like,
yeah, I think I saw like how much I grew from like my first tournament and at the Vic that year to like all the way to like CME, and I saw myself like grow as a player because everyone has hard years. Some people have great rookie years, some people don't, and I think I had to learn like a lot of hard stuff that year. Like I learned like my driver broke one tournament and it wasn't built properly after that, and so I always like carry a backup driver. And I think I had to go through a lot more stuff like that as a rookie that people maybe go through like once a year. Went through a lot of caddies. I couldn't find someone that I meshed with, but I saw like how much I grew as a person and what, I want out of a caddy. But I also like learned how to overcome a lot of stuff, and just like what I've learned, like with my mindset, like I want to be a top 10 player in the world. And, everyone is a really good player out there, but I think like their mindset, like kind of pushes people to be the best. And like, I know like I belong out there and I can win out there. And it gives me a lot of confidence because it was really easy for me last year to just throw in the towel, be like, well, this year sucks. So hopefully I go to Key School and stuff, but I like fought till the very end. So it shows me a lot about myself. And if I ever go through that again in my career, I know I can overcome it.
Yeah, it's I think a really true testament to who you are, because it's not easy. I think I talked about this before. I don't know if it was with you or not, but like I think the year that you had is more consistent with like most professional golfers. Like as far as like you have every tour, mini tours, and then Symetra tours, and all these different tours. More players than not it's a grind, and like it's not easy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're really, really good, and it just takes a little bit of it was a mental thing more than anything. Obviously you can play. You could play. You belonged out there, and then putting it all together to like kind of capitalize that year. I mean, how was it after that? Like, so did you go to Asia after that?
I did. So, talking about a hard rookie year. So I went to China, and I didn't play great, but I think I was still like such on that high because I won. And that evening I had to get a visa. I had to get all my flight stuff from IMG. So it was like a total whirlwind. And then on my way to Taiwan, I left my TrackMan on the plane and I didn't get it back. So, PTSD from that now. So my TrackMan literally has like, it doesn't leave my lap on the plane. So that was difficult. I didn't play the best in Taiwan, I don't think, because I was like so rattled from that. But Asia was hard. I think like because I didn't really know what to expect. And like next year, or if we play this year, me and my caddy said, like we'll know what to expect, like with the courses, because they were pretty long and I wasn't really prepared, I guess, for that. Because after I won, I took some days off before I went to China and I wasn't like fully prepared. But like I played pretty well at CME, so it's like little things happened last year. The TrackMan, the driver, like some stuff that I know now.
Yes, and I think the beauty of it all is that not that the win like cures everything, but it does ease those things a lot, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like, because now you know exactly what not to do.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And you'll learn more things as you go along, too. Like, Asia, I mean, that first experience doing that. I mean, first of all, mentally wrapping your head around that. Because the win changed everything. Yeah. You said you had a place booked in Pinehurst for final stage of Q Series before that. So all of a sudden you're like, oh, canceling that. Yeah. And then you got to think about traveling and the visas, and which I'm sure you had some help with it, but mentally wrapping your head around that.
Oh yeah, and it was so hard because again, like even though like I won, it didn't get me into Korea or Japan. And so but like I was like 8th alternate for Korea. So me and Mel Reed and Sarah Schmelzel went to Vietnam for the week before Taiwan. But when I was in Taiwan, I was like first alternate for Japan, and I didn't have a visa because whenever they were doing the visas, I'm like, there's no freaking way like I'm gonna play. And the Japan one takes a long time, and I had to go to the embassy like after my round, like a few days like in Taiwan, like be driven downtown to get a visa just in case. And I ended up not getting in, but yeah, definitely, because I wasn't prepared to go over there. And so yeah, but next time I'll be better prepared. But I loved it. Like I loved just the whole experience of it.
Yeah, because Asia, I always talk about this with everyone. You get to Asia, the end of the year, Asia Swing.
Yeah.
First of all, you know that you had a good year to be in that, like those fields, or at least, a very good event, like a win right before. And then no cuts. So like, you're going to get a paycheck in the events that you play in. But the first time experiencing it all has to be, I mean, it is different cultures, different, I mean, just the stresses of having to go, like, after your round, like, you have to go to the embassy, like, and take care of this stuff yourself. Whereas, like, maybe, I don't know, but maybe you weren't able to concentrate on your round as much as you would have liked.
Yeah. And I think that was part of it because I had a lot of other stress. And during Taiwan, I'm trying to, like, my Brian's going to the airport, seeing if they have my TrackMan. I just lost this, like, super expensive machine, and, like, just chaos. And I think that just that added stress just carried over. But, and it, like, not the whole trip was stressful, but kind of stressful, like, just leading up to that. Because, I mean, Brian caddied for me for 2 weeks, and he worked on the PGA Tour. Like, he doesn't have any visa whatsoever. And, like, booking him a flight, I mean, because IMG would book it for me for all the players. But, him booking a flight, and I've never been to Asia. He's never been to Asia. So I'm like, I don't know. You need to fly in here. Like, I think they can give you a ride, but I don't know. So just all that. But the caddies, like, on tour, like, really helped him out a lot. So they were great. So they're
that's
very helpful.
That's good.
But yeah, like, my mom always goes to the tournaments with me, and I left the nest going to Asia, and that was, like, the first time she wasn't there. So but I think I'm okay without her now, but still, that was also kind of hard.
Oh, I bet. I mean, to go to the other side of the world, the first time, 2018 was the first time I left the U.S., and I went to Korea by myself. It's just a different experience, but that's good. That's okay. I'll just ask. Okay, goals. You mentioned it a little bit ago, but are you a goal-oriented person? And if so, like, what were some of your goals for this season? And then what are some of your career goals?
Like the 2020 season?
Yeah, like going into this year before, like, just if nothing happened, like if everything was set, going into the 2020 season, what were some of your goals?
So I would say my goals are, like, more process oriented. like very much like Nick Saban, the process. Like putting myself like in contention more times. Like for me, that means like averaging, like just like I think my averages were my goals. Like I wanted to average like 75% or more of like greens hit around. I wanted to be in the top 10 like strokes gained putting, and like drills I needed to do that. And I really, let's see, yeah, I wanted to like not miss a cut the whole year, but I already did that, so that's okay. That's fine. But yeah, I would say like my goals aren't like necessarily like result oriented. Like of course everyone's goal is to win a tournament, but you know what to do. Let's see, my goal was to like increase my swing speed by like 10 miles an hour, which is a lofty goal, but throughout the whole year. But yeah, and I think like my career goals, I'd love to win a major. But again, like putting yourself in that, like being prepared to do that just by practicing, and that may mean, you know, failing a few times to be able to do that. And I'd love to be on the Curtis Cup. I'm not the Curtis Cup, I'm sorry, the Solheim Cup team. That's a huge goal. And this year was a big year, like for the points, especially, but my goal is to be prepared whenever we do come back to, you know, play well and get some Solheim Cup points. And that's about it.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Because I mean, everyone's unique in how they think about it. But the thing that I like about process-oriented goals is that if you accomplish those process goals, the results will then automatically come with it. I mean, they should, like, you'll see the results. So
yeah, and I feel like you get like the confidence knowing that. Like I think this quote by Jack Nicklaus, like I can't say it exactly right, but he said, I did everything and like prep before a tournament, you know, all my stuff in practice. So when I got to the tournament, all I thought about was competing, because I knew I was prepared. So like I like that a lot.
Yeah, I like that one too. Okay, do you have any superstitions?
I wouldn't say I'm superstitious, but I'm particular. Like how I mark my golf ball, I always mark it the same every time, like black line, pink dots. Let's see. Usually I'm probably braiding my hair. I usually don't let it go without a braid. So I think that's not a superstition, but I'm particular in that.
Okay. And added to that list, not in a joking manner at all, but
okay.
TrackMan in your lap on the plane.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Stupid. Yeah. In my lap. Like, cause it doesn't go in the overhead buggy. Cause the problem with it is it's big and it's heavy. And I was you know.
Sorry.
No. So we were flying Jetstar. It was like total, like, and my carry-on was too heavy. And so I had to like check my backpack, which my TrackMan went in, and then I was like carrying it with this like, because I was like, well, I need like my backpack for my phone charger and my headphones. So anyways, but yeah, I like put it in the bin by itself, and I was so eager to get off that plane, and it totally, like, I forgot it, because I mean, that's my fault. But yes, TrackMan in the lap, like it, like a blanket. And you know, my parents make a joke as soon as we land. You have your TrackMan? Off the plane, you have your TrackMan? Like in the rental car, do you have your TrackMan? I'm like, yes, I have it. Like it's gonna sleep next to me.
That's good though. So. That's good though. Like I totally understand, like, well, not a TrackMan, but like say my phone, I'll put it in a pocket that I never put it in, and you're just like I never put it in. You just, for whatever reason, you put it in a different pocket. And then you like I stress out, where is it? And I check like,
I know.
Why is it there? And I'm like, I just, you never had to experience that. Like you're not used to, anyway. Okay.
Yeah. It won't happen again. It will, I promise. Like, I'm like, well, I know I'll never lose it again because I'm literally like, okay, here it is. Okay, we're good.
I trust you. If I ever need like a photo of a TrackMan or something at a tournament, I know who will have theirs.
Yeah, you'll know for sure.
Okay. Transitioning right into your most embarrassing moment on the golf course that you feel comfortable sharing.
Like ever?
Ever.
Oh my gosh. I bet people probably are like, why can't you remember? That was so embarrassing.
I mean, it could be anything such as like Jacqueline Lee said she accidentally, like in one of her first LPGA events as an amateur, she took the honors from Stacey Lewis and realized after she like lined up, she was like, oh like,
gosh. Oh, that's I would be like crying. Geez, let me think. I think like as a rookie, I was like, just stay out of their way. Like, just don't. I think, okay, I think this one's kind of embarrassing, but I was in Phoenix. Like I just Monday qualified. I'm having lunch and I don't know a lot of people. So I was sitting with Hannah Green and Suo. And I get a sandwich and on like one of the pieces of bread, I think, I've never had seeded mustard before. And like, it's intense, you know, like a little bit goes a long way. And I have this bread, like probably piled like that high with the seeded mustard. And they're looking at me like, this girl is, and I like bite into it and I'm like rattled because it's kind of spicy and they were like, they're just like dying laughing. And I didn't even know them, but now I do. And they were just like, yeah, like we're like, man, this girl really must like seeded mustard. So I think that was kind of embarrassing, but it's not on the golf course, but in the atmosphere. But yeah, I was definitely embarrassed because I didn't know them.
That's a good one. I mean, you know, I think nice little icebreakers like that can like ease your way into like making friends.
Yeah. Jeez. And I don't think I've really done anything like embarrassed. Maybe I have, but for the most part, I think
that's okay. That's okay.
Don't do anything.
Okay.
Oh, I have a really bad habit though. I think this is embarrassing. Like if someone asks me to move my mark like to the left, like I kind of forget which way I move it. And so like my caddy has to listen because like they'll just be like, can you move it one that way? And then I'll move it. I'll be like, wait, which way did I move it? So my caddy always has to tell me which way to move it back. I get confused. Because I'm usually like, yeah, so I guess that's kind of embarrassing.
I got you. So that's on the caddy job description. Must listen, must watch which way I move the ball marker.
Because I've like moved it back like the wrong way and then I'll have to move it back twice. So, ooh. Yeah. Yeah.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah.
Okay, what is your best round you ever played? Like your best score? And what's your favorite round that you've ever played?
Let's see. I think my best round, I shot like 63 in high school. High school golf, but you know, not bad.
Hey, 63.
63. Yeah, you know, not a 59, but it was close. I would say my most favorite round was like the last one at Old American, just because I was like so in the zone and I didn't know what I was shooting. And I shot like 33, which was really cool because my brother's football number was 33. So, and that chipping in twice and chipping in on number 9 to shoot 33, that was really special.
Incredible. Oh my. Those favorite rounds, because that's always interesting to me because interesting question to ask because your best round, a lot of people would assume your best round would be maybe your favorite round, which isn't necessarily. They could be the same. Like,
yeah,
if I went out and shot 50, it's not going to happen. But I went out and shot 59.
yeah,
Like that would definitely take both.
right.
But my best personal round is 2 under 70. So, but it's not actually my favorite round. Like there's been rounds.
Right.
There was a round I played at a course from the tips that I ended up shooting 74, like 2 over 74. And
wow, that's impressive.
That was much, much, much better feeling than even the 2 under. So like,
right.
It depends on the situation. So,
yes.
Okay, what are some of the favorite courses you've played? How about like 3 of your favorite courses you've played?
Ever. Okay, probably Pebble Beach. Let's see. I really loved the British Open last year at Woburn. Because I Monday qualified for that. So yeah, the Monday qualifying story. But so that was really special, and I got to experience that with my dad, and I just loved everything about that tournament. And let's see, what is another one? Oh, Turnberry. I got to play there, so that was
nice.
So, I really like to play in Europe. I would say I like links golf a lot.
Links golf. Let's see. I feel like Texas tends to be windy, right?
Yes, so all the time. Oh dear.
You think that feeds into some of your liking of links golf?
Yes. Yeah. I don't play in the rain a whole lot, so if links golf is just windy, then we're fine. But the rain might get a little iffy. But yeah, I would say I can play in the wind pretty well, just because in Texas it is windy. So yeah, and I like how creative you have to be in links golf, which is fun and I feel like you don't get so frustrated at yourself, chipping an 8-iron that can go 190 yards. But yeah, I like the creativity of it. But if it's cold and rainy, then I probably don't like links golf.
I gotcha. There's probably
just windy and semi-warm. Yes.
Yeah, it's been funny seeing Charlie has posted more videos. I think her prep at home.
Oh yeah.
Being there Also, she's amazing because she'll show up in a t-shirt, short sleeves, all the time. Everybody has.
I know.
What are you doing?
I know. I played a practice round with her. The first time I met her was at Old American, and she hits it nice. I really liked her, but it was funny because she just has this carefree personality. But
oh, for sure.
Yeah. She shows up. She's like, "Do you mind if I play with you?" I was like, "Go ahead, that's fine." And she was great. No fear in that golf swing. I love it.
No, and it's so quick. Everything about it is pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are a couple courses that you would like to play? Haven't had the chance to yet.
I'd like to play Augusta. Pine Valley would be pretty cool. And let's see. I haven't played Blue Jack in Texas, Tiger's course. I think it's Blue Jack. Yeah. I always say Blackjack, but it's not Blackjack, it's Blue Jack. But I'd like to play there. I've heard it's really cool.
Yeah, because that hasn't been open too long, has it?
No. And I heard it's perfect to go there in the summer, and there's a halfway house, but it's ice cream. So yeah. So, I know. On a hot day and just get an ice cream cone.
That's the dream. Whenever I think sometimes they'll do if you were commissioner, what would you change or what would you add? They've done that a few times. LPGA has done that a few times with players, and I'm pretty positive ice cream. I think Area said ice cream at every hole or something like that. But for sure, ice cream after the ninth at the turn or something like that. But
mine would be dog petting after every hole. Like a petting zoo, but with puppies. Like after every hole. So if you have a bad hole, there's just a puppy there. But after, especially like after every hole, not like every 3 holes. Definitely after every hole.
Because dogs will not treat you, especially puppies. They're not gonna treat like, hey, why'd you miss that? Or like, they'll just give you love every time, no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, you just short-sighted yourself, but the puppies are always so happy and excited to see you, no matter what you just did.
Guarantee the scoring average across the tour would go down.
Oh, 100%. I know, and it's outside, so the dogs can be there. So.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a good one. If you ever get the chance, after your long successful career is finished up.
Yeah. Well, I know some people have asked for like puppy daycare, and it's gotten shot down. So we'll see.
I guess you can't have everything. The tour Commissioner Juan's doing a great job, though. So we have to give him some props too.
Yes, the puppies will be next on the list after the corona. Fans aren't allowed or whatever, but puppies can be there.
That'd be fine. Do you have a favorite tour story outside of your win?
Okay.
Favorite tour story from last year?
Oh gosh, jeez. Okay, this one. Oh gosh. Well, the Australia in the wilderness, that's a pretty good one. But that one, there's nothing exciting there. It was just like kind of brutal. But I like Monday qualified in LA, but I didn't make it. But like the next day I got in off someone withdrew. And Angela Stanford was nice enough to be like, hey, you can like come stay with us, you and your mom. Super nice. So me and my mom like had a room in there, like Airbnb, and it was really close to the course, which is shocking in LA. And like our job was to like cook dinner one night, and we actually like made some cookies, and they're like, hey rookie, those cookies better be made by the time we get back. I'm like, oh my gosh, like okay, like because Angela just picks on me. It's like a big sister type of relationship, and I baked them the cookies because they went to a Dodgers game, and whenever they came back, they're screaming like, rookie, our cookies better be ready. And I was like already in bed, like watching Netflix. And then I made them and I left them out for them. And then they come in there and they're like, good job. Like that was your test. And
okay. Final question for you. What part of tour life are you looking forward to the most when things kind of get back in the swing of things again?
Just seeing all my friends. I think being at home, it kind of makes you realize that those are, especially during off season too, like you miss seeing those people every day because you don't see them a lot, and really makes you realize how much time you do spend with them on the road because you're not at home so much. So I would say seeing everyone, like seeing my caddy, kind of getting back into the swing of things, but definitely seeing everyone. Because it's weird not seeing them like every day or some point during the week.
Thank you for listening to episode 3 of Pitchin' It with Ben. If you like what you heard, please subscribe, like, rate, and comment, depending on how you're listening to this podcast. See you at episode 4.